This is a discussion of an easy way to make an online class. What I've done in advance as preparation is I have created a file which is my lecture. I've also created a PowerPoint with 3 easy slides. The first one with some pictures and an introduction to the poet John Ashbery. The second one with a PDF pasted in there of the first poem that we're going to be discussing, They Only Dream of America, and then of the second poem we'll be discussing in the class, Paradoxes and Oxymorons. So how do I embed the audio? Well, the first thing I need to do is make sure the audio is that audio that I want to embed. So what I'll do is I will edit my full lecture by opening it by right-clicking, clicking Open With, choosing not to go to my default of iTunes, but instead to QuickTime Player. In the QuickTime Player, I'm going to stretch this out so I can really see at what point I am in the lecture. Then I'll press play and I will play the lecture. Okay, this is our John Ashbery class. I'm starting. And so what I'll do is I'll find out the point at which I have stopped my introduction and where I'm going into the first poem. And at that point, I will trim the lecture and I'll create a separate file just for this particular page. So, for example, what I'll do here is I'll go under Edit, I'll go down to Trim, and then I will pull this yellow bar back to the place where I have determined that the introduction stops, let's say around 10 minutes and 59 seconds. I will have the exact moment, of course, if I were doing this in truth, but this is an example. And then if I hit trim, then this gives me this next bar. And this is the trimmed file. And if I want, I can choose to adjust the volume. So here it is. Okay, this is our John Ashbery class. I'm starting to record. And as you can see, I can make the volume go up and down with this bar. And we just had a long discussion about what we're... At that point, I can save the file, give it a name. I need to find the right place for it. How about we just do it in this file that's opening anyways. I'll go ahead and call it Ashbery Intro. Okay, and then I can close that out. And then I'm going to open Recent and open, once again, the full class session. And then, once again, I'm going to create a trim file. Now what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to trim out the middle parts. So what I'm going to do is go to the trim thing. I will cut out the first 10 minutes and 30-some seconds. I'll get to the exact thing. And then I'll have figured out at which point I've stopped talking about the first poem and where I'm starting about the second poem, which let's say is right here. And then I'll trim that. And then I'll save that. Give it a name, Ashbery 2. And then I would repeat once again with, go to the most recent file that was opened, the Ashbery full class session, stretch it out, hit trim, and then start the third one where the second poem ends and the third poem begins, trim it, save it, name it, and, oops, sorry, it should be Ashbery 3, and then close down. Now at this point, I can go into my John Ashbery class PowerPoint and we can go Insert, go down to Audio, Audio from File. Another thing you can do is just record audio directly into this. I personally like to have a file already put together so that I know that I've done it right, but perhaps you want to just record directly into the PowerPoint yourself. In any case, audio from file, and then of course I need to find the file that I need. In this case, it's Ashbery Intro for the first slide. I click Insert, and now I get this thing. This thing I can drag wherever I like it to be. I like it to be out of the way of the pictures. And now if I click on it, it will play. Okay, this is our John Ashbery class. I'm starting to record about 20 minutes too late. Oops. Okay, so you'll note that I've given instructions down here, including for how to click on the audio by clicking on the speaker icon and then pressing the play button. Students might not be familiar with it, so it's useful to have that there. So then I would repeat with the next one. Okay, so the nice thing about this is that now that this thing is embedded in the PowerPoint, if I hit the play from the current slide or play from the start, you'll see here's my first slide, and I can either get it going by clicking on that and pressing play, or if I hit any other button, if I click the mouse or hit another button, what's going to happen is it'll play automatically. Okay, this is our John Ashbery. And then it goes to the next slide after that. So then I would repeat the same thing for the next slide. I'll insert audio from file. I'll choose my second file, Ashbery 2. I'll drag it where I want it. And then I'll go to my third slide. I'll insert audio from file. This is going to be Ashbery 3. And once again, I'll drag it where I want it. And now at this point, if I save this, the file is done. It's ready to be sent to the students. You can upload it as a Google Doc or through Dropbox, or share it in other ways. And then you'll notice, however, that sometimes on Google, what will happen is that the audio will drop out. So you might ask your students to actually download it to their computers. It might be an easier way for them to do it. In any case, that's how this works. Hope that was useful.